All right. Hey there, everybody. Chris Franks with Texas West Capital coming at you live here on, what is this, Tuesday, the 4th of April, 2023 from just north of Houston, Texas on Lake Conroe. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Man, oh man. So, a lot of stuff going on still with the whole world of crypto, right? I mean, not just crypto, but heck, everything, it seems like. And yet the markets continue to go up, right? So, when we look at that, and then we look at things like, NASDAQ has risen 20% off its lows, which means, technically it's a bull market now. Again, and I know we kind of laugh about that a little bit because Bitcoin, and cryptos make such big moves. But technically, the way we look at it is 20% move off the lows is a bull market, 20%, drop off the highs is a bear market. So we'll see how these things continue to play out. But right now, at least through the end of last year and into the beginning of this year, tech has been leading the way. And so whether that's tech stocks like, Coin and Meta and Riot and Mara, I can list a whole bunch of Bitcoin related stocks, but also, other ones as well, Apple and whatnot and Tesla coming out there. And so crypto's coming along as well. And so these have been the big things. Now we have to remember that the Dow ended up rallying up there prior. So the route, again, we always talk about that mid-August swing high is kind of like the area on all the charts, right? It was that mid-August swing high was the area that we needed to get above on Bitcoin, which we did. It was the area we need to get above on the stock indexes, which the Dow has done. The NASDAQ and S&P have not quite done it yet. So we're still waiting for them to confirm that as well. But, that mid-August swing high rally there, that's kind of like that point. I know everybody keeps moving the goalpost, right? Everybody keeps moving. Now everybody's saying it has to be 30,000, but it was 25 before to get that point. So, you got to keep that in mind when people are talking about it. But it's not that 30,000 for Bitcoin, for instance, isn't an important level to get through. But for me, really, it was that breakout above that mid-August swing high. That was the last lower high, if done correctly, coming off, when you look at the weekly on Bitcoin coming from the all-time high. So, to me, that was the big point. We've now closed above the weekly pivot for 3 weeks in a row now. And we've opened and closed the last 2 weeks above it. So we'll see if we can continue, get some more further upside. Ethereum breaking out this morning. Doge taking a run recently here because old Elon threw the dog instead of the Twitter logo there, right? So crazy kind of things. So who's here already? With Akeem Wasabi, what's up? Ryoshi Research, good to see you. Fibaswani checking in as always. Blaze, what's up, buddy? And Spiral Architect here as well. Good to see you guys and everybody else listening in. We're also going to talk about, again, the idea that maybe, Bitcoin hits 45,000 this year. I know for a lot of people, it's like, no way, right? But it was the same thing in 2019. And surprise, surprise, right? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, I've got the question recently, can we see a new all-time high with Bitcoin? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it can't happen. But if it did, that would be absolutely beyond different from anything that's happened so far in every bearish cycle. So, usually always the all-time high doesn't, the next all-time high doesn't come until after the halving. And that isn't expected to be to March of next year, right? So basically 11, 12 months from now. But I can see, we're going to talk about it today. I'll show you some charts here. I can see a good rally up to that 45, 50,000 area this year, and then a pullback into the halving, and then, the rally and breakout. So we'll look at some things. CMAC, how are you doing? Good to see you checking in. Before we get along out there, though, guys, hey, remember, we've got this going on right now. You can get this at, let me see here. Let me see if I can get this link for you guys. It is TexasWestCapital.com pivot dash points dash MC. And so you can jump on that link. We've got a special going on right now. We're going to release I'm finally back to doing the courses, guys, which is where I started. And so I'm going to release this master course here on the 15th of April. So that is in 11 more days. But if you pre-order it right now, instead of paying $499, you can get it for $49.99. We also have a bundle package going on there, guys. And that's going to get you 12 different master courses. You can go to the page there to check it out. Plus 2 bonus master courses, a Hearst Cycles Trading Master Course and that I'm going to do. And Fibaswani is going to do a Fibonacci Master's Course. And plus, you're going to get a free month of Tier 3 access for what we do here with Tier 3, which means a whole month of learning Elliott Wave, Wyckoff, and price action, among other things. So, unbelievable deal if you've got the money to do it. But if not, I think the pivots points, the way I see it, if you're a new trader, guys, after doing this for almost 30 years now, volume is my big thing. Volume and price action, right? That's my basis with everything else. But beyond that, the indicator that I find that I've seen is really, really helpful for traders is pivots. Once you learn how to use them properly, and not just by themselves, but learning to use them with Elliott Wave, learning to use them with other systems, with price action, with moving averages, with everything else, just gives you so much more confidence in your trade. So that's why that's the first one I'm releasing. Hopefully you guys will jump on that and enjoy that as well there. Let me see here. Dan, what's going on, man? Who else is here? Excelsior, good to see you. Hank checking in. He says, I have learned that videos with a question in the title, the answer is always no. Is it? Man, you're learning terrible things then. Bamboo, what's going on, man? Good to see you. All right. So anyway, you can get that there, man. I'd love for you guys to jump on that. Incredible way to help you become better traders right there, just because it gives so much support for other ways that you look at the charts, even if you don't use it on its own. What else do we have here? We have the CME FedWatch tool, guys. What are we looking at? The market right now is pricing in a 59.5% probability that we're going to see a flat rate coming in. What is this here? Coming up here in May 3rd, okay? They're giving us still a 40.5% chance that we're going to see a 25 basis point rate hike. I think either way, that's kind of what we're looking for. We had Fed stuff come in today. We had numbers come in today. Let me see here. What exactly did we miss on? We missed on a pretty good bit today. Let me see. Let me kind of find my thing here, guys. Give me just 1 minute. Okay, we had coming up here. Factory orders month over month. They were expected to be down 0.5%. They were down 0.7%. But it's still better than what it was previously. Previously, they were down 2.1%. Which was revised upward, or, I guess downward from a miss of 1.6% at the time, right? So we've missed on the factory orders. Let me see here. JOLTS job openings this morning, guys. We were 10.563 million last time, which was a downward revision from 10.824. They were expecting 10.4 million this time. Instead, we got 9.931 million. So again, a miss on that. So we've got those things kind of coming in. By the way, building permits month over month for Canada, I just saw this. They were negative 3.7% last month. They were expected to rise to 2% this month. Actually, they were up to 8.6%. So huge surprise to the upside for building permits there in Canada. But anyway, yeah. So, if you're wondering what happened this morning with the DXY or whatever, reaction from the JOLTS job report more than anything else. But nonetheless, we're seeing these things happening. Now, the other one that we've got going on, right, that could potentially, that everybody's worried is inflationary, right, is what happened with OPEC. OPEC Plus said, hey, we're going to reduce, like 1.5 million barrels a day of oil. That was a surprise there this weekend. And so oil jumped, of course, after the weekend there. And so, here in the U.S. anyway, Biden kind of, drained the SPR there, and they've got to refill that. So, the question is, I have to refill it a lot higher, or are we going to continue lower there? But if oil is rallying, again, I forget what Jerome Powell said. I have to look at it again. Powell had like this quick measurement of so much increase in oil percentage increase leads to a certain percent of inflation increase. So that would be the only thing that I think would be weighing on it, but everything else is still looking like it's continuing to fall and going down there. So I'm not surprised at all that we've still seen the heaviest bid there on a flat rate this next time around, and a little bit more there, a little bit extra there potentially on the 25 basis point rate hike, right? So there is that to watch, right? Let me see here. Ryoshi says this year is the Chinese year. I'm not sure what you mean there, man. What do you mean? Do you mean you think China is going to be the big player this year or whatnot? Let me know what you know here. Kimasabi says, so it's all downhill after the recent pivots course. Not even, man. Those courses. You guys go to that page. Check out all those courses. By the way, these are master courses. They are going to be more information, more in depth. And all of them are going to teach you ways that nobody else is teaching anywhere, how to use these things effectively. But yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be crazy. I mean, if there's, if you're the type that really wants to learn and kind of figure out how all these things work together and whatnot, I mean, this is the way you do it on the cheap. Cheaper than having to go do it all, separately and whatnot. Aeroquin, what's up, man? Wouldn't the halving cycles get priced in at some point? It seems like a predictable event that occurs every 4 years would get front run eventually. Otherwise, you could buy on X date and expect the bull run to start shortly after and use that method as your own money printer. Markets typically don't make it that easy. It'd be nice if they did, though. Yeah, it'd be nice if they did. I mean, you say that, right? But look at everybody right now. Everybody's all scared about going down lower right now, right? So, everybody's been, promising there was going to be a recession for the last year now, just over a year, I guess. And we haven't, had those signals coming in yet, right? We're not doing that yet, right? Beyond that, everybody since, the Q3, Q4 of last year has been denying the rally, right? Dead cat bounce, blah, 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 right? So I don't know, man. You say, is it front run eventually? People are people. The good thing about people is they tend to do the same things over and over again. They're predictable. That's why, forecasting works, when you're using something like Elliott wave, because people, Elliott wave is based on people's emotions. And they just kind of, they repeat the same things over and over and over again. Right. So, nothing's changed so far. Every halving cycle, nothing's changed so far. So I don't know. I kind of tend to play things the way they are, right? Trading itself is based on probabilities, or should be anyway. You should be giving more deference to a higher probability outcome in general, right? So, I mean, until it does something different, I mean, I'm just going to go with what normally happens, if we're talking about that, right? Yeah. So, let me see here. Oh, kind of catch up with you guys here. Michael Johnson's, what's up? He says, the thing with the 4-year cycle is that it reduces miner supply. You can price that in, but you can't predict what else will happen in the meantime. So there's that as well coming in, right? Jonas, fantastic, buddy. Good to see you checking in. I'll try to get on that today, man. All right. Data, what's up, man? Good to see you here as well. So I mean, again, no surprise here with what we're looking at. Same thing that we kind of continue to look at, right? In case you guys haven't heard, and if you live in Canada, maybe this is of interest to you, but WonderFi, CoinSquare, and CoinSmart are apparently going to merge, right? So together, they're going to become one of the world's largest crypto trading platforms. Between them, they have about 1.65 million users and more than 600 million in assets under custody. WonderFi here really kind of jumped up 43, almost 50% today on that, right? If you hate Kevin O'Leary, then maybe you're not interested in it. He's a strategic investor in it, right? But anyway, I don't know if you guys are over there in Canada. I know some of y'all are, but I don't know if you use any of those platforms, but I don't know. Maybe that might interest you, right? If you're interested in giving the Three Arrows Capital's founders more money, you can go join their platform, OpenX, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, it's now live. So what's live right now is that they're going to, is that they've got spot and futures trading for major pairs, major tokens such as Bitcoin, Ether, Dogecoin, and USD coin, USDC. And then their claims trading is expected to go live in the coming weeks. So yeah, hey, if you didn't lose enough the first time around, they're going to give you a second chance to give them some more money. I just can't even. Oh, Lord have mercy. So I'm not saying it can't be a viable platform, guys. I'm just thinking, man, oh man, right? The gall. But, that's kind of the way the world works, right? You come in, you screw something up really big, and you prove that, hey, at least you could get it big, right? And so people want to give you money to do it again. So there you go, if you want to check that out. Dan says, what'd you say there, Dan? You said CoinSquare is BS compared to Bybit? Good to know, man. Good to know. He says he's in Canada. So I don't know anything about them personally. But there you go, in case you were wondering, right? Let me see here. Good to see you there, Deadly. Always good to see you checking in, man. Let's see what else we got going here. Oh man, if you guys are in Voyager, if you've got Voyager claims, you don't want to hear this. Just recently, not too long back, the bankruptcy judge said, "Hey, okay, I'm going to approve the deal with Voyager and Binance US." But now the district court judge, who got it because the government argued against it, right? The government's like, we're not going to take this. We're going to send it up the pole. We appealed it, right? So they appealed it there to the district court, who says, well, hold on there. There's these potential criminal things with Voyager. And so there's nowhere that we've ever seen in law where a bankruptcy judge can kind of nullify the criminal acts. So now you guys are on hold again. I hate that, man. It's like one thing after another, right? So that's what you got kind of going on there. Philbo says there's no way that platform is viable. They should have called it Desperation Platform. I think he's talking about OpenX. But yeah, so man, oh man. Says Reardon has set a swift deadline to resolve the Voyager issue with the government, asked to send its brief by April 7th, and a response by Voyager due April 18th. But again, the whole idea with this is the fact of the potential criminal actions, that the government is charging, wants to charge Voyager with. And if the merger goes through, or the buyout goes through, then apparently that kind of would nullify that, right? And so, government's like, I don't think so, right? Let me see here. Ahmet, good to see you, man. You still bearish, huh, man? You just can't do it, can you? You can't get bullish, can you? He says the count of Bitcoin is not easily visible. There are numerous variations, in my opinion. Something big is coming, and my bias is to the downside. Well, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of people's opinion right now, for sure, right? It is what it is. But, if we're popping out above 30, 35,000 up there, I mean, if you're still bearish at that point, I don't think there's a whole lot that can be done at that point to change your mind, right? And not just you, but I mean, anybody that's really kind of bearish about Bitcoin at the moment. But we'll take a look at that chart here. By the way, guys, real quick here, has anybody read this book yet, Soft War? I'm thinking about grabbing it probably sometime this week. Lord knows I've got a big backlog of books I've been trying to read. But this is the one by the U.S. Space Force major, right? It was basically his thesis there in his master's program, talking about how Bitcoin is imperative to the military. It's kind of interesting, right? He says it has the potential to play a major role on the world's geopolitical stage as a military-grade solution for securing information, far different than the monetary use Bitcoin's network has today. So, I mean, hey, I think, if you're pro Bitcoin, you're like, yeah, man, whatever, do it, whatever. Anything to get Bitcoin more accepted and more use out there. Say you're going to use it for, all this other stuff, that's fine. As long as you can get it up there and we can use it everywhere else as well, right? So, of course, the full title is Soft War, a novel theory on power projection and the national security significance of Bitcoin. So, like I said, I haven't grabbed it yet. I pulled it up on Amazon there and forgot to actually buy it the other day. So we'll kind of see there. I don't know if anybody has seen that, right? Let me see here. Ahmed says, if we break 30,000, I am no more bearish. Oh, so 30,001 cent? Is that all we need? I'm going to hold you to it, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see what's going on there, right? Who's secretly paying informants? What are you talking about, Hank? I'm not sure if I'm following you there. Are you trying to say that the reasoning for this is for secretly paying informants? I'm not even sure, man. Let me know what you're thinking there. All right. Let me jump over here real quick, and we'll start looking at some charts if you guys like to do that. Let me kind of find my charts here. Share screen, always fun, right? Where are we at here? I got too many dang things open. As always, guys, you know how that goes for me, right? Let me see here. What am I looking at? Brave new coin. Liquid index. I think that's that one right there. That one right there. If you get above 29.2, that's your invalidation. Okay, hey, listen. Y'all see this, right? Wait, there we go. Y'all see it, right? We got a med on there. All right. Man, I love that you that you continue coming back, man. It's hard sometimes when people have a really strong opinion and somebody doesn't agree with them to kind of just shrug them off and whatnot. And I'm not here to make fun of anybody's positions or whatnot. Not at all. Not at all. But I think it's important that whether you've got this bullish or this bearish opinion, you have to have your areas where you say, okay, at this point, I'm wrong. With the way you're looking at the chart, right? You have to have your invalidation levels. And I think it's great that you do. It's really important as a trader. I mean, how else are you going to be successful if you don't know at what point your thesis, your idea for your trade is incorrect? How do you make money if you don't know that, right? You would have to be right every time, and nobody's right every time. I'm telling you guys now. All right? Michael, nice face. Who, me? Kimasabi says, many will say break 30 and I'm no longer bearish. So that is where liquidity is for a decent retrace. It is possible. We've talked about this, guys, right? So I'm sorry. I've got the chart sitting here. I'm talking to you. There we go. So, I mean, yeah, here's the deal. Everything else aside, okay, guys, here's the deal. We are sitting above the weekly pivot. This is, an important thing. We broke out through that weekly pivot on a spike of volume. A large candle spread closed out above it. We've opened and closed the following 2 weeks above it. We opened back above it this third week. And you're like, oh, but there's dojis there. Yeah, there's dojis there. Could potentially pull back, or could just be some sideways before further up, right? Again, when we look at charts, you say, oh, it can't happen, but that's exactly what happened here. Dojis and little tiny candles for a few weeks here, and then boom, broke out higher, right? I'm not saying this is this right here. I'm just saying when you've got this impulsive rally off a low where you've had a significant drawdown and there isn't that much supply on there in short-term hands, this is what tends to happen, right? That's what tends to happen. It's the big moves. They continue to go up, right? So not that this has to happen here, but again, if you say, no, it can't, you're not really paying attention, right? So Hank in his personal ideas, he's like, I don't like the generally accepted definition. I'm going to give it my own. For Hank, a break, he says, is a 12-hour candle open and close above, because that fits his style. Well, we've had multiples of those, obviously, right? So the break is there, right? Multiples. These are weekly candles here. That's right, Ahmed. It's only about making plans, not about being correct or something. That's right, guys. You always got to ask yourself, would you rather be correct or would you rather be profitable? It really is that simple. Not easy, but it's simple, right? Most traders, unfortunately, get caught up emotionally, and they're really scared to be wrong, especially if they've been speaking publicly about it, on social media or something. And that's a shame. That's a shame, because that keeps you keep yourself imprisoned in your own lack of understanding of what it means to be a trader, right? So, yeah. Let me see here. Brian, what's up, man? Would you ask, do you expect Bitcoin to hit a lower high then consolidate over the summer before continuation? So that's a good question here. So let's kind of talk about this, all right? If we look here, we can pretty easily say, okay, well, this is 1, this is 2. This is probably 3 and a 4 and a 5. Let me kind of take these down here a degree here, a few degrees, okay? All right, so I mean, there's a good argument. This right here is 1 and then 2, right? Now, if you're doing Elliott wave, why does that make sense? Well, large candles, large volume, right? Breaks it up there. That's a wave 3. Pullback for wave 4, wave 5. And then, of course, the pullback on this, again, was almost 61.8, right? Golden zone. Okay, so it looks good. So the question goes, what's going on here? Now, if this is a 1 with a short 2, or if it's a 1-2 with a local 1-2, either way, we'd be looking for a go higher, right? You go, oh, but that's a short 2 there, Chris. It barely pulls back. It's like 38.6, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. When you don't have a lot of supply, short-term hands to dump onto it, it often makes it difficult for price to retrace more than just a small bit. And you'll see these kind of short pullbacks usually after the big downtrends, right? Where you've got all this supply coming out along the way down, right? So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this go up, right? Now, let's say this is 1-2 here. So if we're coming out for this 1-2, right? I'm a little bit off here when I'm grabbing it, but this gives us a 5 up here right around 38,872 and 15 cents, right? So even if this got us 1-2, we got a 3, 4, and a 5 somewhere in here, that would still get us a likely pullback target, 50% here at the weekly pivot, okay? But again, we appear to be open right here. So if this is 1-2 and this is 1-2 here, right? And we've got this short pullback. If we get it, guys, okay? If we get it, I'm not guaranteeing we're going to. Well, all of a sudden, we're looking up here now at 45,830, right? Now, that only becomes now wave 3. So you get this strong move up into this next area of resistance, right? Wave 4 then pulls you back. Oops. Yeah, wave 4 then pulls you back right around, we'll give it the whole range here. We'll say the 38.2 to the 50. So 32,670 basically to 35,765 would be the expected pullback for wave 4. Okay. Initially we look at 38.2, then we look at 50. Now, why is that important? Because if we look over here, right, this is that support resistance area where we're kind of pushing against, right? Basically, this gives us support right above this. So people waiting for 25, right? Let's talk about human emotion here, and human psychology, okay? Trader psychology even. So everybody here, everybody's telling you it has to go to 25. It can't possibly go out, right? And that would seem to make sense. It's not that it's stupid. It makes sense, okay? But if this thing pops out above here, all of a sudden we rally up here to the mid 40s, and then we pull back to this previous area of resistance here, and we never get to 25. So people are stuck, sitting on their hands, missing the trade, right? And when it starts pulling back, they're looking and go, okay, now it has to come back to 25 because they're still stuck in their head on 25, on that 25 entry, right? But it never does it. It goes here, and then you end up getting a wave 5. If you just get a 38.2 pullback, you got this wave 5 up here at 55,852 now, right? And if you get back to actually the 50%, that would get you up there close to around, let's see here, closer to around 58,883. Now, the cool thing about this is, look, we now have a first impulsive, a first subwave here that targets the previous swing high area here, right? So we had this resistance and then this above it, and this is all we're hitting is this previous resistance here. So we can see something like this happening through the end of the year, right? And then we pull back into the halving, right? Because all of a sudden, now we have to, let me get rid of all this stuff here. Now we've got to pull back for a wave 2. And so guess where your wave 2 pulls back to? wave 4 the lesser degree, right? The 38.2 is the 50% pullback here. 61.8 just gets us in here. It never actually gets back down to 25, right? Sure, you go, okay, well, 78.6 is there. Yeah, but here's the thing, guys. If we're above this weekly pivot and we're rallying up here, we should expect it to rally up through the R5 at least. We shouldn't expect this rejection up here at the R2, way up here, and then have it break down below the pivot. I'm not saying it can't happen, but again, we talk about probabilities, and probabilities are that's not what would happen in that way. As somebody who's traded pivots for so many years now, right? So yeah. So, is it possible we have 45 or even 55,000 by the end of the year? I think it is. Now, and to answer the question earlier, do we see some rally up, before summer or whatever, right? So for me, if I'm looking at this, I go, yeah, April and May, I can see this rally up for wave 3, April and May. I can see the summer pullback for wave 4. And then as we get into end of, September, maybe we get around there. Maybe then we have the rally up through the end of the year, maybe even into the beginning of next year, up here to the all-time high. Like I said, then we're a few months of pullback as we get into March or potentially early April when that halving happens, right? And we get that for a wave 2 pullback, and then we're wave 3 up, right? So I know people are going to watch either now they're watching or they're going to watch later and go, oh, yeah, whatever, that can't happen. But, again, guys, people didn't think this was going to happen here. They fought it the entire way. They fought 4,000. They fought 6,000. And again, and then they bought up here at 11 to 13,000 when it came down, right? So we nailed this entire move all the way up, including the target area. And then people go, okay, well, if it does that, then it has to come way back down like this. No, this doesn't have to happen. This was an anomaly. Normally, this doesn't happen, right? You don't normally get this huge wave 2 drawdown into that area there. But it is what it is, right? So I think there's a good case to be made here if we can get this impulsive breakout here that we see. Now, in talking about that, April is generally the best month of the year, not just for crypto, but for stocks as well. Okay? So maybe we get this wave 3 of 3 here during March, right? Or I'm sorry, during April, a little bit pullback for 4, and then we get, again, May into early June, maybe we're getting wave 5 of 3. And then for the next few months, we pull back on a wave 4. Then for the next few months, we rally up for a wave 5. And then for a few months after that, we pull back for, again, that would be a 1, and we get a 2 on that pullback. Does that make sense? Why would the pullback happen right at halving, not getting... No, not at halving, CMAC. It would happen before. So my thought, if we were to follow something like this, is that we would get this wave 5, this first wave up, probably like around the end of this year, right? And so halving doesn't actually happen until the end of, I think right now it's projected to be around the end of March, beginning of April, sometime around there. So the idea would be sometime in December, which is usually when we're transitioning, right? If we look down here, this was December of 2018. Let me see here. This right here was November of 22. So it's right around that same area, right? We look up here. This was, again, December of 17. If we come up here, this up here was November of 21. So that November, December area is usually where we get the transitions for the waves. So the idea would be that we rally it up there, and then we pull back for the next few months into the halving. Again, the halving being, let me see if I throw it on here maybe. Maybe somewhere right over this. This is the first week of April here. Somewhere like that, right? So now you get your 1 up here, maybe around November, December, and then you get your pullback for your 2 in 3 waves there. Right around the halving, somewhere about that. And then, like I said, previously every time with when Bitcoin's done these bull runs, really kind of got to the new all-time high, it's been after the halving. So you get a 1 there, and then you get like this 2 over here around that halving time, right? And then we go 3 into a new all-time high after that. Does that make sense? So again, in this case, we'd be rallying up here. I think Fibbo, are you still around, buddy? Yeah, I think you had like a projection of like some mid 30s number in April or something, right? I think Fibbo from back in December, he had a time projection sometime in April, I believe, with a mid 30s kind of target area. So yeah, yeah. So again, would be really kind of really be kind of cool. It would not hurt my feelings. Would it hurt your feelings if this happened? What's going on, Mark? Andrew, I see you guys checking in. Um, Let me see here. Kimosabi, what are you saying there, buddy? You said, was just talking to someone about that. Human nature wants to be correct. And once you have your bias, you find reasons to be correct instead of listening to what the market is telling you. It's a real difficult thing. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, guys. Anybody that tells you, hey, listen, I've been trading for 20 or 30 years and my bias isn't a problem at all. And, I don't ever have to worry about my emotions. They're lying to you guys, okay? I promise you they're lying to you. It's something you always have to fight. You don't magically one day go, oh, wow, I can't, it doesn't bother me anymore. We're human beings, right? Does that make sense? So, embrace what you are. Just understand what you are. What's going on there, right? Fibbo is saying, let's see here. What was his call here? He said, I had a call from December to see 35 by the end of April. There you go, guys. So, yeah. Ahmet believes he's seen a big sell-off. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Again, the thought is, okay, resistance here, we should be seeing a sell-off, right? But are we? That's the question. Because all we need is a pop out right above this 30,000, 32,000 area, 31,000 area. All we need is an impulsive breakout above that, and then we're open for a rally higher, right? So, again, it is kind of what it is, right? By the way, Ahmet's got the 29,200. He said once he gets above that, he won't be bearish anymore. Our previous swing high was 29,166 and 32 cents here on the BLX. So it would just be a little bit higher over that kind of rally there, right? But again, so much has gone on. So much is worked out here. I mean, look at this. This is your resistance coming down. Broke out about it, tested it, rallied up, got rejected at the 200 MA on the weekly, pulled back, tested it. We got a pin bar right here at support, right? This resistance, support resistance area. We got a pin bar right about there. I drew it kind of off, but yeah, right up. Huge bullish engulfing candle afterward. Breaks out impulsively above the pivot, the weekly pivot, right? Again, impulsively meaning large spike of volume, large candle spread closed above it. We remain above it. So, I mean, well, by the way, we're also, as you can see here, the 200, this red moving average here, that's the 200 weekly. We're above the 200 weekly. So why would we want to feel bearish, right? In general. These are just a few of the things that we can look at here and go, well, I don't know. Things are seeming pretty dang, bullish. For me, I would definitely be bullish until we get, an impulsive drop below the weekly pivot because we had the impulsive breakout above it. Now, if we can do that, okay, then maybe we can look at a pullback, right? But then we have to figure out, okay, well, what's this stupid count here then? We got to figure it out again, right? Right now, it looks like a pretty clear 1-2, which would give this potentially a 1-2 or a 1-2-1-2 here to rally up, right? So, yeah. Ahmed says momentum and volume is bearish or is dead, and that's why that's why my bias is bearish, he says. Yeah, it was right here as well, wasn't it? And it took off, right? And then it still kind of fell off here, right? And then it broke off. So, I mean, again, on this rally here, momentum and bearish are dying off, right? Getting back to these lows, and you continue rallying higher back up here, right? It continued overall. Volume continued to drop off that swing low in March of 2020 all the way down to October of 2020 up here. And then it picked up. But it rallied that entire time as it continued to drop off. You could have said basically that volume and momentum were dead right here. Right? Right here. You could have said it was dead right here. Right? All this sideways. So you want to make sure that you're careful when you're looking at that, what it could actually be saying, right? Let me see here. Aeroqueen, yeah. As a matter of fact, I've got a better chart I'll be posting there for you guys. I'll post it there today in Discord, in the Bitcoin updates channel. All right, a little bit better, but something like this. Yeah, yeah. Let me see here. But Ahmet says he is only short-term bearish. Okay, you got me confused, man. You keep talking about a big drop, something big's going to happen. Sounds like you're a longer-term bearish kind of thing. So yeah, see, it's the words, guys. You have to understand the words you use affect how somebody interprets what you're saying, right? So I mean, yeah, I mean a short-term bearish, sure, I could even see that too. But right now, as long as that weekly pivot is holding, to me, that's the important thing right there. If you can't get an impulsive breakdown below that, there's no reason to be bearish, right? If you're sitting on it finding support, your bias should be the upside until it shows you something different. But that's what you learn when you trade pivots, right? This is just classic looking at, I don't even know how many days, tens of thousands of hours at pivots charts, right? Over the last 15 years almost, something like that. So yeah, you kind of get some understanding of price movement, price action within the pivots. Yeah. So that's why I lean, especially with that breakout above and the way it did it, toward the upside until it shows me it's not. Again, none of that guarantees it's going to, right? There's nothing. If you guys don't know, those of you that maybe are new, if nobody's told you yet, there are no guarantees in trading except that you're going to lose money at some point. Okay. There's no way you're going to come out of trading unscathed. You're going to lose money, and you're going to lose money more often than you probably believe, which is why risk management is so important. But anything anybody tries to sell you as definitely has to happen, it's guaranteed, all this other silly nonsense, or, you're not going to lose on your trade, it's all BS, guys. I'm here to tell you right now, it's all BS. And if you believe that stuff, you're going to lose money hard. It's not cool. So yeah, now if we do come on back here, sure, 25, we'll look at 25. We could even look down at 20, but again, it's going to have to come in here and look at how this count is here again, because again, right now this looks like a pretty clear 5 up here for a 1-2. Now, yeah. I mean, so again, we would have to look at that. I'm Deuce. What's up? He says funding right went negative on the Femex exchange for the first time in a while. Short squeeze in the making. Man, I've been watching that on Femex as well as I've been trading there, and I've been like, man, how long has it been since the negative rate was on there? It seemed like for months now that thing's been positive every time I look at it. So yeah. Let me see here. Beak Vape, what's up, man? You said, what is the red line April 1st, 2024? Yeah, that's around that time. Yeah, I just popped that in there real quick to kind of help people understand when we're looking for the idea that we hit the wave 1 and then we pull back, the wave 1 in Q4 of this year, and then we pull back in wave 2 toward the halvening. Yeah. And so I just popped right there. It's, I think right now, depending on where you look, it's estimated between like the end of March and the beginning of April of 2024. But that would be the ideal, right? So you get your sub wave up to the previous swing high area, and then you get your wave 2 back to the halving, and then, man, then everybody gets excited at the halving. Everybody goes in, right? They start getting in on the beginning, and by the time you're breaking out above the swing high here, you're probably getting, this is probably 1, 2, and that's going to be 3 of 3 on the breakout, the new all-time high. And that's where you see all that volume coming in. Yeah. Let me see here. Nothing is guaranteed except you will get your stop loss hit often, right? Diego, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you checking in, man. Big Vape says, where is the 2.0 fib on the high to the low? Like this? Is that what you're looking at? From the all-time high? It's up there around 121 almost. That's what you're looking at, okay? So yeah, I mean, there you go, guys. Not saying it has to happen, but definitely saying if you see an impulsive breakout above 30 here, you need to pay attention. You really need to pay attention if you haven't been paying attention yet, because everybody and their grandmother is expecting the pullback here, right? but we had a very strong move down. We pulled out all that short-term supply. We got out of those short-term hands into longer-term hands. And right now we have a liquidity thing, right? We're having a liquidity thing here in the U.S., especially, right? It's more difficult to get money, especially in large amounts, right? Think of crypto funds or stuff like that. It's hard to get that money onto the exchanges, right? And to make these purchases. So you have a lack of liquidity, which means usually larger, stronger movements in either direction, right? So if your market bias, if the market is biased to the upside and you have a liquidity thing going on, people are going to have trouble selling into that, which means it's going to be easier for price to move higher quicker. Does that make sense? So, so we're kind of looking at here, right? Now, if your market is market bearish, right? On the bearish side, in other words, looking for some pullback at least, right? And there's not a lot of liquidity, comparatively, right, to what it was, then yeah, it's going to move further and faster and harder down as well. Same thing, either direction. But whichever way your market is biased at that time, is where you should be looking to go, especially with a lack of with a drop in liquidity, right? By the way, we can notice here, this is the 21. By the way, this is the 21 EMA right here, in case you were wondering, okay? So above that, tested support, rallied up off it, blah, blah, blah. But again, we are above the 200 MA. And I bring that up on the weekly here because back in the beginning of the bear market, when it's coming down everything, especially when it dropped below, right? Everybody's like, oh, no, it's below it. I won't be bullish until it gets above it. And those same people are still not bullish today, right? Let me see here. Hank says everybody was also sure that 25.2 was this year's high, and we would be trading the 25 to 18K range for the rest of the year. Crickets now. Yeah, exactly. To me, that 25.2, this was the important move here. Again, if we're looking at market structure coming off the all-time high, and you're looking in terms of low, or you got a high, you got a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This doesn't count. So this is your last lower high once you made that lower low there, right? And so we are above that. So again, as I was talking about before that ever happened, I said that's what we're looking to get above. We're above that. To me, that was the part we needed to get above. So right now, to me, again, like Hank was saying there, everybody was looking for this right here to give us this range right here. Yet we got the breakout above it, but they still want to be bearish, right? Now, most of those people who are talking 25 over here are now talking 30, 31 here. It's the next area of resistance. It makes sense, right? I mean, if we look at it, it's not just resistance. I mean, look at this, right? It's the area of support resistance. This is a significant area, right? So again, if we're getting an impulsive breakout above this 30, 31 area here, there's no reason you shouldn't be thinking bullish, right? Now, for a lot of y'all that aren't in yet, you're going to get scared, right? It's going to rally up and then you're going to be scared to jump in. Here's my thoughts on that, guys. You don't have to grab this move up, okay? You don't have to grab this move up. Most likely, we're going to get something similar to this. So you're going to get a pullback toward this area and be able to go in. So as long as you can be patient and wait for the rally up for the third wave and the pullback for the fourth wave, you'll be fine. You can get in on that fourth wave. You don't have to try and force it in now, scared and wondering, and then, every little pullback, getting scared out and taking your money out along the way, right? You can wait for confirmation of the pullback, the retest of this resistance as support for wave 4, and then you can go long there if you want. You don't have to get the breakout here if you don't want to, okay? Hank says a lot of bearish reputations on the line on crypto Twitter. Yeah, and by a lot of big accounts. And they will probably start getting defensive. I've just kind of started staying away from all that. But, they'll probably, if it is, they'll say something like, okay, well, I don't know, something like, well, at least I put it out there or something like that, right? they're not going to admit, okay, listen, I was really wrong. I was very, very bearish here, and I was thought for sure it was going to go down. No, they'll just say, well, at least I put it out there, or something like, probably say something along those lines. And it doesn't mean they're not good traders, but again, I tell you guys, everybody has to deal with emotions. Everybody can get caught up in bias, right? Where no matter how you look at it, you just really believe it has to do a thing. It's hard. Again, trading is simple. It's not easy, right? It's not easy because you have to deal with that all the time. That's what we're kind of looking there, okay? Ahmed says the fiat possibility is still on the table in higher time. Oh, the flat possibility is still on table in higher time frames. That's what's confusing him. Yeah, again, it depends on what you look at this count here, right? So, again, maybe you say this looks like 5 up, right? So if that looks like 5 up, that would have to be the end. So maybe you'd be looking at something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And so we look at that and we say, okay, well, where does 3 end? Is 3 a flat here? Or does it do? Well, I don't know. I mean, I could see. I mean, if we look at this, you could potentially get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? So I mean, you can get 5 down. So maybe you have a flat, maybe toward the top here somewhere, right? I know we've looked at the possibility that maybe we have this ending diagonal here, but we've already looked at it before. So let's look at another possibility. Maybe we have an A, and then we have a B, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us the C, right? And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like get you your 5. So you say, okay, well, that's my 5. So we got 1, we got 2. 1 was the June 2019. 2 was March of 2020. 3 then becomes this February area, okay? And you have 3 down, and then you have ABC up for B. So now you get this expanded flat going, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can get 5 off there, right? So you go, okay, well, what is this? Well, this one gets kind of interesting here. There is a way to look at this as potentially 5 here. The idea being maybe like a 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. 1, 2. Oh, Lord have mercy. There was a way I was looking at this. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you can finagle 5 waves out of this. It's tough, but you can do it, right? Something we don't often look at, maybe, let's see, swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so Ahmed was talking about the possibility of this being a flat, which would mean this would have to be 3 down, okay? So if that were the case, here is potentially the way you can, there we go. You can look at this, right? So you look at maybe like an ABC down as a W, ABC up as an X, ABC down as a Y, ABC as an X, and then ABC down as a Z. It's a complex correction, right? W, X, Y, X, Z. Again, because if you're looking at this as a flat, the idea that, let me just draw us with arrows here, that this is a 1, 2, 3, and then you got 3 up for A, 3 down for B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you have to figure out how do you get 5 out of this. Again, to me, it looks pretty clear that this is 5 up, and then we've got a new high coming out of there. But this is what Ahmed's been talking about. It was the idea that maybe we have a wave 4 flat here. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a flat, right? Expanded flat, and you have a 5 coming down. I think that's a little bit more difficult to do now because of trying to count this in here, though, if I'm honest. Because, again, it does look like we have a clear 1, 2 here, and then we look like, now we got a higher high coming out of this. But if you're concerned because this you think is clearly an ABC, well, just pop on a WXYXZ, right? And all of a sudden, you now have, 1, 2 here. And now things really start looking interesting because now this is just one of wave 5, right? Again, the idea that this is 3, this is 4, and then this is wave 1 of 5, wave 2 of 5, we head up, right? And this would make a lot of sense. You can get this really, who knows, maybe you're getting 200,000, 300,000, whatever. But this would make a lot of sense when you think in terms of, okay, if this is going to be some ending coming up here, some kind of credit ending, whatever, playing out over the next few years, maybe even up into 1930 or something, well, heck, there you go. But what if things aren't as bearish as all that seems? And this coming from the guy who's been talking about that being, right? But what if this is just the next start of the next big kind of thing, right? And we're not going to know that either way, guys. But, again, this is the great thing about being a trader. You don't have to know what's going to happen. You just get to trade it along the way, up and down. That's the great thing. I think it's when you're trying to catch you're not even trying to invest. You're trying to just get the absolute lowest price and sell the absolute highest price. That's what you're trying to do, what most traders are trying to do, what most people in the markets are trying to do. And it doesn't work out well for them. So, yeah. Let me see here. All right. So, that's what I'm kind of looking at here, right? So we'll see what happens. Again, we're looking for an impulsive breakout above that 30, 31,000 area. And that puts this into possibility. That really kind of puts some support on this. So we'll see. All right. Let me see here. Ethereum, Bitcoin, guys. Look at this. So we actually have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? A, B, C coming down here. If I'm looking at this, I'm thinking there's a 1, there's a 2, and we're coming up now. This is Ethereum, Bitcoin, right? Let me see here. Ethereum is the one breaking out. You tweeting it this morning, Big Dave saying, yeah, we're going to pull that up in a minute here. I wanted to start with the Ethereum Bitcoin chart first. But as you can see here, got this move down, a couple of dojis. Notice your lowest point was right there at the beginning. It didn't dip back down after, right? It consolidated upward, and now we're getting the nice breakout here. So if I'm looking at this, man, they're probably actually a triangle here is what it looks like to me. Let me take this down one. So yeah, if I look at this, I'm looking, remember we've talked about this before, right? What we were looking at, this was the initial target, right? Then I had the other target, the second target down a little bit lower just in case. B, C, D. Now again, remember guys, this range has been in effect. I mean, we started up into this back here. 700 days, guys. 700 days. It's just over 2 years, right? Sideways here. This is the Ethereum Bitcoin. Again, as we look at it here, let me draw these, finish drawing this little triangle on here. B goes to D. And there we go. And so I'm looking at this now going, well, heck, this looks pretty good, right? So from this, based on this being a 1, 2 here, we should be looking up here around 0.120893. That gives a wave 3, minimum wave 5 up here around 0.134726 is how that would work based on the idea that this is a 1, 2 off this low here, right? So yeah. What are we looking for a breakout? Well, we need a breakout above wave B triangle resistance. That's wave E of B at 0.073544. Once you break above that, that's going to add confidence to the count and suggest that wave 3 is headed up there to that 0.120893 area, okay? And so, by the way, you can notice here on the weekly, we're crossing bullishly after almost top bottoming out and oversold on Stochk RSI. And we pulled back to support here So this support area right around 36, 38, right around there. We pulled back to that before we kind of started pulling back off here. So again, you can also look here on the local resistance. You look for a break on the RSI resistance there. Probably around 49 and some change, right around neutral, guys. Okay. Ethereum here. What do you guys got here? Andrew Bennett says the sky is falling with the USD. Ahmed says he's going to be happy if that's not a flat. Yeah, I think we all will be, right? For sure. Kimazabi says, treat trading like a fisherman. Don't be interested in the head or the tail of the move. What you want is the meat in the middle, then cast your line again. Exactly. I always talk about that, guys. Don't get some confirmation on a rally off the bottom. Get some confirmation on a rejection at the top. Grab that middle move, the third wave, man. That's where you make all the money. I mean, that's the easy, quickest way to make the money, right? It's always that third wave up, right? It's that easiness, the ease of movement, right? So yeah, here we are this morning. I posted out. Do you think this morning or last night? I can't remember when I did. I think I did this morning. It was last night. Last night, right? I don't remember. But I posted this triangle here because I've shown my bigger, my larger chart, weekly chart. So I zoomed into the daily here and I said, okay, well, we've got a lot of doji or a lot of wicks up here into this resistance area. We've got support kind of, consolidating against it. Do you think it's going to be a breakout or not? And we got the breakout this morning. So now we want to see, do we continue up higher? So if we look at this, what is this red line right here? Well, on this drop here from April of 22 until down here around June of 22, right? This gives us our session volume during that time. That red line is called the point of control, the POC. That is the level in this entire drop here. That is where the most trading happened. Right there around 1800. Okay? And if we actually look at this, notice that most of that resistance came right about. Yeah, we wicked up a little bit higher, but look at where the candle spreads are finding resistance here. And then we popped out and found support on it. We popped out, hit resistance, found support on it, and now we're breaking up higher. So being above that, again, it's the same thing we talk about on our high volume nodes over here, right? If you're under them, they work as resistance, but if you're above them, they work as support. And so people are buying when you're above those major areas, right? You should be buying when they pop above that because that's what the market's do. The market's interested in providing support. Now they're interested in that level as support now. If you're under it, they're interested in that level as resistance, right? So, I mean, man, oh man, there we kind of go. And, low volume nodes up through here. The higher volume nodes are a bunch smaller. I think if we're hitting 22, we're probably hitting 36. Right? 36 will get us right above the swing high up here. So if we can jump on up here to this 22 area and prop out above that, this low volume node kind of area here, on this right here, it would, right here, 21,000 basically. There's another cliff right here around $2,420 or so. So, if you can break out above those, first time above them, you'll probably get rejected and pushed back. Because at the low volume nodes, there's no liquidity, guys. It's the area where the market just hasn't been really interested, right? So often, you're going to look and see, what you want to see is, do you get rejected? If you don't get rejected, it should teleport up to the next higher volume node area. If you do get rejected, you usually pull back to a higher volume node, and then you break on out through it the next time. But remember, if you want to buy and sell, there has to be somebody on the other side of that trade. So if you're a bigger player trying to get in there, well, if there's nobody to buy and sell with in that area, you don't really want to buy and sell in there. Why do you want to chase price one way or the other? If you're buying, you don't want to chase price up. If you're selling, you don't want to chase price down, right? You're trying to get the best price possible. So again, I think, with the breakout here, if we're hitting 22, I think we're looking at 2,200. We're probably looking at 3,600. And, if we're doing that, guys, new all-time highs. Nothing different from Bitcoin, right? Let me see here. Spidey, what's up, man? Have you talked about the bearish quadruple divergence on the daily Bitcoin? The bearish quadruple divergence. Let me see here. Find a better chart. Oh, by the way, yeah, this is the other thing I want to explain to you guys here. Look at this. Right before I look at that, I had this on here. Forgot about this. Listen, the U.S. government sold 216 million of that Silk Road Bitcoin that it's been holding, right? In March. March still closed up 23% higher than the previous month. But y'all are worried because they're going to sell Bitcoin a few more times. There's the reality, because they got 4 more tranches they want to sell about the same, right? All it provided was a wave 2. That's all it did. We end up much higher, right? So stop being so worried about that. I think, again, kind of crazy there. Here's the kind of that count going on here. By the way, if you're using the EWO indicator, guys, it suggests 1 and 2 are done and 3's in progress. Your EWO indicator, okay? But if we jump at the daily, do this and see what we can see we're talking about here. Clear off everything. U.S. government has diamond hands, Mark says. Man, oh man, yeah, no. What'd you say here? Have you talked about the bearish quadruple divergence? Bearish quadruple divergence on the daily. Okay. If I'm looking at the daily, I'm going to show you where my divergences are, okay? If we're on the daily here, right? Here's your swing high, which is actually coming down to a dip there. It's not even at the swing high. See, here's the problem. Your divergence here on the daily, right? This swing high here is actually this elbow down. It should be a swing high. So what does that tell us? That tells us we got to find our first swing high. That's this one right here on March 17th. So that's the first swing high. After that, you get this lower high here and you get this higher high. So that gives you the pullback. That's your bearish divergence, right? And then you have a lower high again and a higher high again, right? Up here. And that gives you this divergence here. Okay? So those are your 2 divergences. They've played out, okay? The next swing high is going to be this one, but it's not actually the swing high. You see? It is the next swing high here in RSI here, but it's not actually the swing high here. So I wouldn't get a divergence off that, and I wouldn't get it off the swing high because that's the downward, the dip here. It's not the swing high, right? So I don't think you get it from there. Again, we got a divergence here, we got a divergence here, right? And then we had nothing going on. We had confirmation of movement here, and then we have this swing high with this swing high, which misses this here. So no divergence here. I would not just blindly draw a line here, go, oh, that's bearish divergence at all. Okay? I wouldn't do that. That's not actually doing what you're supposed to be looking for in the bearish divergence. Because, yes, you're getting this move down, but all you're getting is sideways here right now, right? You've got a slightly lower low here. Now, we can maybe look at this. What is this? March 27th to April 3rd. March 27th, that's that swing low. April 3rd is this swing low. So we had, as you see here, we have a hidden bullish divergence right here because you have higher lows right here. That's the divergence I see right now. Does that make sense? Yeah, see, you wouldn't draw it from the last pump from 23. You talking about way over here? In this area? No, because look, even if you were to look at this, right, and you go, okay, well, there's higher highs. Okay, there's your bearish divergence. Here's your reaction. Now we're down here. Now, if you want to look, you go from this swing high to this swing high up here, right, up over here. And then we get into the local daily stuff, right? So you got your little reaction going on there. But yeah, no, I wouldn't look at that at all. I wouldn't go from here to here because it was from here, to here, right? Which gave us this move down. Then we're up here. So then we're, again, from generally this area to this area, I can see that. Okay, there you go. But now we're here. So now you got to look at the next one up. And that's actually from the swing high here to this point, gives it a little bit. So you pull back, right? A little bit bearish divergence, pulls back. But now you're from this swing high to this swing high up here. And then you start getting into the daily stuff I was talking about. Yeah, you can't just blindly throw this over here because you're ignoring all of what's going on in here, right? And you're going to see that a lot on crypto Twitter and the rest of social media. You're going to see a lot of really bad divergences, guys. But that's what I'm saying. If you're just going from here to here, just because it's a high to a high, the divergence are actually happening in here along the way. And you have to understand that so that you look for the correct swing highs that you're trying to compare about. Yeah. From March what? March 14th. Again, it wouldn't be this right here. I just went through that right here. We're looking through. No, you're behind me a little bit, so maybe you'll get to that here in a minute. Yeah. So I went through that. That's what I would be looking at. Again, you have to, when you're starting up here and coming through, you've got to note your divergences as they happen here so you have the correct point of reference for the next one. Otherwise, like most of social media, you just draw this big old thing, go, oh, look, divergence. Well, not on the daily time frame, it's not, right? We've worked through multiple bearish divergences, give us these pullbacks, right? But it's not one big divergence on the daily, not at all, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. The indicator at the top is EWO, Elliott Wave Oscillator, okay? Let me see here. What is your thought about the alts, Chris? It seems like they need to start the wave 3. However, they are all struggling like they will never get the third wave. No, I think, they're getting ready to do it. It happens when it happens, right? I think people tend to get too much of the, it has to happen right here kind of thing. But, it just happens when it happens. I think we continue watching. Where is that chart there? Is it that one? Nope. Is it that one? Nope. All right. Well, anyway, that Ethereum Bitcoin chart that I was looking at, right? Is it maybe here? Nope. Right here. No, God dog it. Right there. There we go. All right. Jeez, oh whiz. So I'm using, for whatever reason, my browser's having trouble bringing up the TradingView chart. So I'm using the TradingView, what do you call it there? The TradingView app. And it's, let me see. Well, I guess I could widen this out for you guys. Yeah, we can do this. And now I can see the names up there. I was going to say I can't see the names up there with it. But so again, I think, we continue looking at the Ethereum Bitcoin one. I think that's probably the big indicator more than anything else. I think we continue to watch this one for the move. And it's starting to show that it may be happening. But again, remember, money doesn't just like all of a sudden dump into alts, right? So it follows a pattern, right? It starts slowly pulling out as Bitcoin's finishing up whatever wave it's on, right? And so then the coins, the profits will start rolling out. Think of it like in the fifth wave. So if you're in the fifth wave of the third wave, your profits will start rolling out into into your large cap and then mid cap and then small cap and then micro cap kind of idea, right? So that's what we're kind of doing that. Oh, Bamboo, man. I hope you're all right, buddy. You just got rear-ended in your car. Jesus, freaking A. I hope you're all right, man. People aren't paying attention. Do I mind checking Sol USDT again? Start charging you guys. Let me see here. Let's see what we got here. All right. So a lot of this is older chart. Let's kind of pull this up here. Daily. Let's see. You're fine. Just material damage. Yeah, but it still sucks, man. Sorry. Who's bearish? If you think I'm bearish, you haven't been watching. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Saul looks like a 1-2 ready, right? Let me see. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so we can get a 1, we can get a 2, right? Do like this, right? So you got more than a 50% pullback, right? Almost 61.8. So yeah, yeah. I could see this potentially as a 1-2 here, which would be similar to Bitcoin, right? So if it is, they give us a wave 3 up here at 46.73. Wave 5 up there around $54, which just gets us right above this whole. Wave 3 gets us up to this resistance. Wave 5 gets us up to the next bit. But let me see here. Where does that pull us back to? Let me see. Looks like that's good. Weekly. Oh, it didn't come up. Doggone it. Yeah, it did. There we go. Yeah. So I mean, again, you get your 3, you get your 4, you get your 5, and then you have your 1, and so you're getting 1 right before the weekly pivot. You rejected, right? Look at where we're getting. Where wave 5 would be targeting. Try again. So I mean, yeah, just right beyond the EQ here. Just above the EQ of this supply structure we had over here, right? Which, by the way, still works because it's the supply structure right here now. You see how we had this rally up that cleared out the rest of this supply below? It's probably up a little bit higher there. There we go, up off that wick there. And that almost gives us a perfect EQ right there, around $54 at that. So, I mean, yeah, if I'm looking at that, if we can get a breakout higher, that's what we're going to be looking for, right? Bashan, good to have you checking in. Thank you for checking in from, where'd you say, Slovenia? Nice. Monthly, you can see the monthly here. Stoke RSI is oversold, hasn't quite broken out yet. Huge monthly candle there, right? Huge monthly candle here. Come up with that. This was back there, was it January? Yeah, January there. The rally up into resistance, right? The pull back locally here. Looking for a break on out through that. And then again, you're going to pull back right above that area where we're kind of at, right? So you'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Gives us a 1 and a 2 kind of pullback to this support. This resistance becomes support. And you break out higher. So yeah. Let me see here. So what do we got to look for on that? Let me see. Get this all set up here. Let's see. So I guess we'd have to get a breakout. I want to see a breakout above, what's this swing high here? 23.33? Because if we look at this as potentially, A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Just want to see a breakout above that to kind of signal it's heading up higher there at that point. I think we've probably got an A, B here on the bigger count. And then we got 5 down. And we've already peaked out above that. So if that is the wave B right there at 23.53, breaking out above it should suggest that we're going to continue up higher. So now we just want to see that locally. That gives us wave 3 target around 32.14. Minimum expected wave 5 target around 35.16 on that. So yeah, I mean, I think it still looks all right there, right? Fibaswani, have a great day, man. Let me see here. Let me see. Link USD. What do we have here? I mean, guys, basically, for the most part, your alts are going to move in tandem for the most part, right? If they're especially if they're around the same, market cap size there, right? Let's see. It looks like maybe we've got a 1, 2 here. So we've got a flat, so an A, B, C kind of thing, or a WXY. And then you have, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming in maybe. Again, it looks like we might have another flat right here as well. But if we're breaking out above that swing high, which would be B, gives us a wave 3 up here. Get up there. Minimum expected right there around 98.28, 9.828, which gets us right at this resistance, right? Let's see. 6, 300. Yeah, here we go. So kind of looking at this range right here, right? See how higher are there? Yeah, I mean, then you're only getting an LPS, the last point of support here. So you get your preliminary support, rise back up, comes back down your selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test, secondary test, secondary test. So multiples coming through there. You get the rally up. It's contained by the preliminary supply or preliminary support rally there, as it should be. The rally off the preliminary support. Because that gives you that second level of resistance there. We push down, so you've got phase A, you've got this large phase B, you have phase C, which would be this last point of support here. Get rally up there, show of strength. You pull back your last point of support again. So this is wave D, and then wave E would be on the breakout here. So, if we can get up here and get through this, we'd be looking for that large breakout there with the large candle spread, large spike of volume. We have a nice doji here, found support on the pivot, rallying up off that now. Look at that, though, on the way down. All this inefficiency all the way down here. So again, 5 gets us minimum expected target right around this kind of support area here. See the resistance right there, support right here, support on this little candle split right there. Now that's minimum expected. Again, we could have wave 3 overextend to that area, which is probably what would happen, I would think. Wave 5 will get closer up here toward the weekly pivot, I think. Right? Let me see here. So yeah, I mean, again, breaking out through this range here really opens up, especially when we get through this upper extension here at around 9.652, really kind of opens up the move into the pivot, which should then give us the reason to break back and kind of rally up off there to get us, above that weekly pivot and rallying faster there. Let's see. If we're looking at the volume profile on this move down to the swing low, you can see that right now we are above the point of control off that. So off this entire move down from up here at November 8th of 21, down here to June 13th of 22, we are above the absolute area where people were most interested in buying, right? You can see a strong bit of volume coming off this rejection up here, but little to no follow through. Rallied back up, got rejected, came back through. Much smaller volume at the top there compared to here. Came down, picked up, could not break the low. Rallied up above that swing high there now, pulling back and looking to break up higher here. So, you had a significant bit of volume come down here, but you have no follow through. A little bit lower, rallies back up, gets rejected, dips, just wicks a little bit lower, still stays above the swing low, which tells you the market's pretty bullish in this area. A lot of interest in buying going on. And of course, you see that. A lot of action happening here, which we are above now. On the weekly, you can see how we got this breakout. It was resistance here. Then we broke out through on the next candle. Next candle up, it found support. Next candle up, it's wicked just below, but found support. Here we are continuing up, right? So yeah, I see a lot of constructive structure on that right now. Yeah. Let me see here. Oh gosh, I got to get out of here, guys. Let me see here. Which one are we looking at here? What about Litecoin? It looks like they don't want to let price go higher. Let's do this. Oh man, I hate when it does that. All right. Said Litecoin. Oh yeah, no, same. It looks like same kind of idea we were looking at with what's it called? Ethereum there. Again, you're kind of rallying up into this resistance. This is the 3-day. Zoom into the weekly here real quick. So you can notice we found resistance right here, right? So this previous area of support, resistance going all the way back over here, right? Resistance all the way back here on August 28th of 2017. The resistance support area all the way across. That's where we're at. It's constructive so far, right? You've got a low, you got a high, you've got a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potentially a higher low. So, we're still constructive off the lows, right? Okay, what else we got going here? Come on, get up there. All right. That looks good. Those are touching nicely there, even though we're not getting the breakdown all the way to the support. Well, I'd like to see, again, support, resistance. I would have loved to have seen support, resistance, support here. But yeah, looks all right. Yeah, I want to see that breaking out further there. We did break out impulsively above the weekly pivot here. We had broken out here and fell back through. So now we need to see a breakout above the swing high up here. That's 105.69. But for right now, we broke out through it. Volumes continue to be kind of up there. We just want to see some follow through this area. Obviously, it's a significant area. As a matter of fact, we can throw a whole box right on through here. Do that. And so really that's kind of where we're looking at. This is the resistance we're at. We just peaked out above it. We're coming back through. We want to break out through it again if we can. I think we rally up to R1 pivot up there. R1 pivot's right around 130, around 135, 136. Pulling back from there would give us a 50% pullback to the pivot. So if we can get a pop out through or maybe come back, retest this support and continue on, we'll see how it continues playing out on that. But yeah, overall, don't see anything terrible on there. Arrow Quinn, have a great day, man. So yeah, I don't see anything awful off that. There is this resistance, which, might be the kind of area we get through. But that's, 2 points from way off there. I think this is more constructive here as far as having, multiple points on the way down, breakout, retest, rather up off there. But yeah, I would look for it to continue higher. We got to break out above that swing high though. The more impulsive we can do that, the more positive the movement is, and the more likely we are to remain above. Is that 105 and 69 cent level on Coinbase here. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. But anyway, all right, guys, listen, it is 12:30. Let me jump on real quick, I guess, here. One more thing. I didn't do the DXY, did I? Nope. Let me put that in here. Did it again. All right. DXY. Let's pull it up here real quick. 15-minute, man. So, we bottomed out there, and then we ride back up, rejected at the S1. Let me get my other indicators in here real quick that we can read. There we go. All right. It doesn't look good, right? We came in sideways. We hit the 15-minute pivot, dropped down below the S1. We hit the S1. We're getting rejected there. We're breaking out into overbought right now. The 4 hour, we just dipped into oversold on RSI, Stoke RSI down there. Looks like 3 waves down so far. This right here looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then ABC. And then 1, 2, it looks like so far. So if this is 1, 2 here, short 2, we're looking at 5 down, gets us around 100.14, just on this local move down. But that should likely take us just about there. Let me see here. Well, if we're looking at it here off the top, we'd be looking something like 1, 2, 3. Let me see here. I guess we'll say 4 here. Then we'll look at 5 coming down. If that's the case, then it should dip on down there below that, right? Below the 100 mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. So that's 5 down. 1, 2. Yeah, so that would then get us 3. We'd be looking down here around 99.5. Where does that get us? Yeah, it gets us almost right here. 99 and 0.34 kind of area. Getting down around that area if we can get that. But that'd be a huge breakdown for the dollar. As you can see, it's already, right? We're already coming down here on the daily, coming in sideways between the pivot and the S1, and we're not even trying. We quick pop up and we're falling back down. As far as the weekly goes, again, 2 rejections here at the weekly to send it back down lower. So, again, losing the support here really kind of keeps us going down lower there. Now, depending on how you want to count this, is it possible maybe this is a 1, this is an A, this is a B, and we get a C up higher here? And if we did, it would probably be closer toward this 107.5 area. But yeah, that's definitely possible, I think. See here. Yeah, see that 50% gets us right around 107.865 from where we currently are. But if we're doing a flat here, if this is A and this is B and C, we would first look at this 38.2 right around 106.2, right there above that current swing high. And then we'd look at the 50. Because a lot of times your flats will just stay flat. You won't get the huge big move, okay? So anyway, yeah, I don't think overall, I don't think there's a lot going on for the dollar. I think it ultimately continues lower, right? On the weekly here or on the monthly, you can see that we're dipping here below the demand block, below that, right? Coming back down there, that 99 area, 99 to 100 is this kind of resistance right here. See if we can do this. It's kind of this right here. So, I mean, we lose that again. We're coming on down. I don't see anything constructive for the dollar happening at the moment. So we'll see how it all plays out, right? But anyway, there you go. As always, remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So please keep working on that risk management. I hope you guys have an amazing day, an amazing week of trading. The only other advice I can give you, honestly, is just look for the higher confidence trades. Don't, stop getting into trades just because there's a chance. Because most of those trades where it's just a chance, you're going to lose. And there's no reason to lose money that you don't have to lose. Because that's money you still have to make up before you can continue building your wealth, right? So learn to look for the higher confidence trades. Learn to look for, the divergences which are done correctly, or pin bars at support, or candles find support or resistance at pivots. I mean, all these simpler ways to look at it. Okay. All right, guys. Again, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Friday, I don't know if I'm going to do a stream. It is Good Friday. And so TWC office will actually be closed. I think I'm going to do one anyway, but I'll let you guys know via social media before we get to there whether we will or not, okay? As always, guys, don't forget, or even right now, not as always, but right now we do have that Pivots Points Master Course pre-sale going on. Normally it's going to be $499, but you can get it for $49.99 right now. I know it says $49 there. It's $49.99 right now. But you can also get the bundles, which ends up being 14 master courses in total, plus a month of Tier 3 for $499 if you're really serious about learning how to trade with these things correctly and interested in learning different ways that nobody else ever teaches you about how to effectively use them. So there you go. All right. All right, guys. Y'all take care. Let me see if I can set up this goodbye scene. And we'll get out of there. All right. Take care, everybody.